Greetings, UTC community. My name's Ethan Erstein, and I'm part of the AIA staff care team. I've been on staff with AIA for almost exactly a year, and on staff with Crew since 1999. And I'm excited to be able to be with you today, albeit virtually. Recently, I was working on my roof, and I was painting the rake board. So if you don't know what the rake board is, it's the board that runs parallel to the roof. It's kind of situated right under the edge of the roof. Now, I hate this job. This job, it's really detestable in a whole lot of ways. It's I don't like heights, so you're on the roof, and it's especially when you get up to the peak of the roof, you're really looking down over a long way. I'm having to kind of twist my body and lean over the edge of the roof and paint this board that I can barely see. So sweat's running down my face, and it's hot, and I'm uncomfortable. I'm really like just starting to feel real angry. And so recently, I was processing this with my counselor. We were talking about this. And she kept asking me why I was angry. And I started by telling her what I just told you, all the reasons that I didn't want to be doing this job. And but she kept trying to kind of peel away the layers of what was really driving my anger. The more I thought about it, the more I realized, I knew in the moment that the job was temporary and that I would get done with it. But what was really fueling my anger was this cascading list of other things in my mind, this list of other jobs. You see, from my vantage point on my roof, I was looking down and seeing all these other things that needed to be done. The lawn needed to be mowed. There's all these dead branches that needed to be cut down before the next windstorm blows them down. So there are places on my exterior of my house that needed to be painted, all this stuff that needed to be cleaned up. The list just kept growing. It was making me more and more angry. And as we were talking about this, she was just digging more and more into this. And as I kind of took myself back there and sat in that moment emotionally, kind of brought it back to mind, recalled it, I remember feeling like I was actually kind of hearing from the Lord. And it wasn't so much words, but the impression that Ethan, you're upset because the burden that you have on your heart is your burden. It's not my burden. It's not what I have for you. It's what you have put on yourself, and you're reluctant to let it go. It's really kind of a watershed moment for me. I feel like this is something that really I've been looking forward to sharing this with somebody, as many people as I can. I think it's important to talk about this right now because so much of our world is so up in the air right now, especially as it relates to the work that we're doing within Crew, and especially with AIA. You think about university schedules are completely upside down. Who knows what's going to happen day to day. And even the world of sports, both collegiate and professional, so many things are in so much turmoil right now that it kind of creates a void. It's an environment where it's very easy to take on our own list of responsibilities. I want to take you to the Gospel of Luke, and this would be in. I want to go to chapter 10, verse 38. And this is a short passage. I'm sure you'll recognize it and talk about it with you briefly. This is a story of Mary and Martha. So as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving. And she went up to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me." But the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you're anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, and it will not be taken away from her." Just in you could say a lot about this passage, but in the simplest terms, Martha has taken on the Lord's burden. She's taken on what the Lord has put on her. and she's in a pretty peaceful place with it. Mary, on the other hand, has taken on her own list, and it's long and overwhelming, and it's got her in a pretty bad space. And Jesus makes it pretty clear that who has made the better choice. And that's not to beat up on Mary, and a lot of reasons why she might have been feeling pressure to do what she was doing. But nevertheless, Martha chose the better thing, and it's pretty instructive to us as well. So the question that I want to ask you today is, how can we take on the Lord's burden for us, for our lives, versus our own burden? When we were raising support initially, way back in the very late 90s, early 2000s, my wife dropped a wisdom bomb on me, and it was so impactful that it's actually kind of a mantra that I have to this day. We were full-time raising support, and I was feeling really stressed and a lot of fear, not sure if we'd actually make the goal. And yeah, it was just a really difficult time. And my wife said, and as only my wife can, she said, "Ethan, I think you need to be faithful to do what God has put in front of you one day at a time, and just let that be enough." Boom. It was amazing. I'm going to say it again. It's really I really want you to hear this. Be faithful to do what God puts in front of you one day at a time. I felt so freed. Suddenly I felt like the goal isn't to get done or get the whole list done. The goal is to do the next right thing, to follow God as he leads, and to do the next right thing. And that is a burden that is manageable. That's a burden that's light. So I do want to answer a question I'm anticipating some of you might have. How do you know what God has put in front of you? How can you distinguish one list of to-dos from another list of to-dos? One that comes from God versus one that we're generating for ourselves. I have 3 ideas. You can talk a lot about this. I don't think there's a solid answer where it's like a switch that you flip and you just make the switch 100%. I think this is more of a process as we learn how to walk with God, as we learn how to hear his voice. But I do want to share 3 things with you that I think can be really helpful. They've been very helpful to me. Hopefully they will be helpful to you. First thing is silence and solitude. It's so important to just quiet the noise and never underestimate how difficult it is. As human beings, it's hard to shut everything out and to just be still and not say anything, not just sit and let the silence be silent. But it's in those times of solitude and silence, it creates an environment where it's easier for us to hear from the Lord. He doesn't have to cut through so much noise. So that's the first thing, silence and solitude. The second thing is related to it a little bit, but a little bit different, and that is time spent in the Word. Letting God speak to us through what's already been said and through things that have already happened is so important. And Christians throughout history have experienced God speaking to a contemporary circumstance in their life through something that he's already done or said. It's practically a universal Christian experience, and I would commend it to you. So making sure that we're spending time in the Word, letting that Word, letting it soak into us. Final thing is journaling. So it's possible some of you listening to this, you don't really like to write stuff. You're not sure, maybe you feel like, I don't really know what that does. But there's a lot of evidence that would point to the act of writing something down helps unlock thoughts and beliefs that are deep inside us in our subconscious. And people that are in the habit of doing a lot of journaling, they often have the experience of, they start writing something down and they're kind of surprised by what wound up on the page. It's like, I had no idea I was thinking that. The act of writing it down helps release those things. It helps call those things up. So I would commend to you just getting into the practice of journaling. Doesn't mean you have to write a novel every single day. Sometimes it's enough to just write a sentence or two about what you're thinking about life, what you're stressed about, something, maybe it could be something that you want the Lord to know, you want to just get it out there, just get it on paper. Well, I hope this has been helpful. UTC community, I want you to know we pray for you all the time and grateful for you. It's been said a million times, you might be tired of hearing it, you're serving in unprecedented times. But that's also a privilege as God leads us through just a set of circumstances that has never happened before. And how lucky are we that we get to follow him through that. We'll all be developing wisdom and insights and a closeness with the Lord that we'll be able to share with other people as we go. You're acquiring things for your treasure chest that you can pull out and share with others. So I hope you have a great week. I hope you sense God's presence and move forward in a sense of hope for the future. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye.